Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everyone today? The Teaser King's fine. Just went for my walk and it was a little rainy out, but okay. Forget Mark McGuire. The guest is some idiot. Don't pay attention to. Gold right now, 39.91, silver 48.24. It's, of course, the 10 o'clock drop, which is very predictable and happens 99 days out of 100. So the U.S. can buy gold and silver cheaper. So as you can see here, gold goes from 4,007 to 39.89, and then they buy up to about 4,000, and now it's 39.91. And silver 48.26 was 48.75 earlier. This just bullshit. It's all with options. I was watching somebody else, and they dumped a million ounces of silver, which isn't, or no, like 100 million ounces of silver, which is impossible because there's only 800 million ounces of silver, 500 million ounces of silver. No, it's 550,000 tons. So it's impossible because there's not as much silver as they traded. And why would everybody trade? So total manipulation means sale of the century. Just keep buying. That's the best thing you can do. All right, let's just say hi to the girls and then on with the class. I got to go get Alyssa later. So I'll probably go at least an hour, but I'll try to get the good picks in. All right. So forget Mark McGuire today. Let's go into the NFL. We did hit our game last night. We had Denver minus 2.5, as they were 25-2 in the teaser. Now they're 26-2. I don't understand 10-7. I got to watch the game. I was out walking. Let's look at South Florida. We'll get to the NFL in a second. I'm on the college. I just want to get the scores. South Florida wins 55-23. The over was 68 on it. They play a 78. Georgia Southern 25. App State 23. So here the total was 67 or 61. They played a 48, so it didn't go over. Let me get my coffee. Give me 5 seconds. Oh, they complain about me because I complain about them. Look, because he's swearing at me. I won't be here much longer. I wanted, I understand. Okay, sorry about that. I put it on, but it takes a while. Okay, so those were the two yesterday. Let's quickly go through the two, and then I'll get to the NFL. We got 3 games tonight. We've got Houston 1.5, 47.5. They're both B teams, 21-18 defense. Tulane, Memphis 3.5, 54.5. Memphis an A team, Tulane an E, 19 defense against Tulane's 25. And Northwestern USC 14.5, 51.5. USC the over team with a decent defense, getting better, 22 defense. Northwestern an under team with a 16. So it's confusing USC because do you bet them over? Now their defense is getting better. Are they really an over team? They're an over team because they score a lot. But again, a lot of that was against the Z teams and the high school teams. So we have to look last 5 at that, which I'll do later. So those are the 3 tonight. And then we'll go back and look at college. So let's look at the NFL. So as I said, I looked at the score. Broncos D causes Raiders woes and low scoring victory. So when I went through this, the injuries. So Panay Sewell, both Lion tackles are okay in practicing. They will play. I got a little nervous when Sewell was with the injured shoulder, but they'll both play. That is, what's the free play? The free play is, do we not know? Where is it? It's the Buffalo-Miami game. Okay. I wasn't sure if I free played Detroit or free played Buffalo. Detroit, I'm skeptical with because they're not that good. And they lost to J.J. McCarthy, who lit them up pretty good. And now here comes Mariota, who stinks also, but he's a running quarterback. And the problem with the Lions is their defensive coordinator sucks. The problem is they tend to look at the Lions and the Tigers here, and they look at them against weak teams. Right? Oh, they beat the Chicago White Sox. Oh, they're the best team. They're going to the World Series. And same thing with the Lions. They beat the Bears. They're going to the World Series, but then they lose to KC. They do lose to Minnesota and Green Bay. They did beat Baltimore, but as we see, how good's Baltimore? Lamar, they kind of choked him off. They actually did pressure, but they don't do it. They didn't do it against J.J. McCarthy. They only did it in the one game, which you wonder why. It's a very successful defense, but you didn't do it again. So they lose to KC, and then there's no excuse to lose to Minnesota. That's terrible coaching off of a bye, and Dan Campbell goes, oh, I didn't have him ready. You had 2 weeks to get him ready. What do you mean you didn't have him ready? Why didn't you blitz? You only had 5 sacks. You should have had 15 or 20. J.J. McCarthy can't read a blitz. You should have blitzed every play like you did against Lamar. So it's mind-boggling to watch these idiots. All right. So Sunday, Denver 10-7. They were laying 9. So there was some 8.5s earlier in the week when I bet it, and then 9s. And so if you bet it late, there might have been 8.5s, but anyway, you laid 3, you pushed, you got it early. It was 2.5, and you won, which is why I'm very critical to bet the game when I see the right line to bet it. The 8.5s, I want to bet down to 2.5 if I like the game, because it's only going to go to 9, and I want to stay away from the 3 just because of this. I didn't think the game would be low scoring. How could you? Oakland with the 26 defense, and they hold them to 10 points. Now, there was some missed kicks. There was a few interceptions. Bo Nix does that. One minute he's superstar, and the next minute he's throwing some interception. Now, I didn't see it. Was it a deflection? Maybe he's a little bit on the smaller side. We'll see. They held Brock Bowers to one catch for 31 yards, which is incredible. So you can see what they were doing. They're taking Brock Bowers away, and that leaves Oakland with no offense. But again, if you take the teaser trend, Denver 25-2 since last year, now 26-2. Just amazing. But you don't bet against it. They're not due. Somebody took Oakland. They were due. Denver was due for a bad game, and just it's ridiculous. Denver did get the win, and in a teaser world, we were looking at it. Was the game fixed? Maybe. I don't know. How can they only score 10 on Oakland? Fucking Jacksonville put up, 30-29 last week. So hard to figure Denver at home. Sometimes they do this. They don't really, they struggle. They played Tennessee, and they should have killed them, and they struggled going into the fourth quarter, and then they finally threw a few touchdowns. It's like, what are you doing? So Denver kind of falls asleep sometimes. All right, so let's look at it. From Germany, I think. Indy 6.5, 48.5. Land on under team with the 22 defense. They just now again, that's part of Penix played, and then Cousins didn't do anything. That gets skewed in. So you take the Miami game out. There may be an E team. They should with Penix and Robinson and Drake London and Pitts. They should be a much better offense. Bad offensive coordinator. Indy an A team with the 20 defense, and Jones threw 4 interceptions against Pittsburgh. Struggled against the Rams. They're going to be tired in Germany, and here's, this is the problem, the travel. What is the point of the travel? I have no fucking idea. It's just stupidity. Indy loses a home game. Why? Why would Indy give up a home game to go to Germany? What for? There's no German fans. They don't like American football. Anyway, Jacksonville and Houston. Jacksonville is now a 1-point favorite, 37.5. It's Lawrence against Mills, so you don't have Stroud. He's out. They're both under teams. Jacksonville the 23 defense, Houston a 15. I don't buy Jacksonville's 23 defense, but we certainly buy Houston's 15. And no Stroud, which is probably better. Mills is probably better than Stroud. Carolina 5.5, 39.5. Basically, you got the worst team in the league, New Orleans, the Jets. There's about 4 or 5 real bad teams. Carolina's an under team, a 23 defense. Steve Young is terrible. Shaw, he might be good, but it's his second game. So, I don't know what they're doing. Well, Rattler, okay, we gave you a chance. Why do you have to give him a chance? Didn't you see how bad he was in college that you got to give him a chance? So that always amazes me. Well, let's give him a chance to see what we got. You know what you got. He played in college. You drafted him. You didn't know what you had when you drafted him? Really? Okay. So anyway, that's what we have here. So Carolina at home, they're not good. Play against New Orleans as a road dog, 9-1. And play against New Orleans this year is 8-0. So a small trend because it's just 8 games, and you don't expect Shaw to win, but can you really bet on Steve Young and Carolina to get the win? And it wouldn't surprise me if they lost. It is a division game, so they do play each other twice a year. So a lot of things happen there. Tampa 2.5, 48. New England a B team with a 19 defense. Tampa an E team with a 22. You got Drake May. Again, 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, but 34 sacks. Tampa is very good at sacking against the Baker. And again, Tampa 23-3 in the teaser, 7-1 is a home favorite. And New England is 8-1 in the teaser this year with the new coach, Vrabel. So what do you do with them? Is New England that good? And on one hand, you give them credit. They won at Buffalo, which was a good win. Are they really, are they an A team now? No, not really. I wouldn't call them an A team. Are they a B team? Well, statistically, they're a B team. They got a 19 defense, which that I believe because Vrabel is a good defensive guy. Tampa is just very strong in a teaser. Very good at home. This will be if New England wins here, I'll call them an A team. I don't think they'll win here. Now we keep going back to Tampa's injuries. Bucky Irvin's out. The receivers, Evans and the other guys out. But they have other receivers, and they still keep winning even with these guys. Their only loss was to Philly. So they're still a good team. And they're at home. So I'm not buying New England to win this game, and I'm not buying the Evans and Godwin injuries. They have other receivers. It's the NFL. It's like the Lions. They lose all their secondary, and then the backups come in, and they play well, and they beat Tampa. So, again, you can't – just because there's injuries doesn't mean they're going to be bad. All right, Cleveland and the Jets. Cleveland 238. Cleveland a W team with a 23 defense. The Jets a W team with the 28 defense. So they both suck. Gabriel against Fields. Gabriel is much better. Fields is terrible. Play against the Jets 22-3. The Jets a 28 defense. Cleveland a 23. So Cleveland with Myles Garrett's probably the difference in the game. And the Jets just traded away their players for draft picks. What does that do for you? It doesn't do anything for you. Very rarely the draft picks pan out. It all depends on your GM, and the Jets don't have a good GM. The Jets wish they had me as their GM. We'd be back in the Super Bowl with Joe Willie. I don't know. How do you bet Cleveland as a road favorite? I certainly don't trust the Jets as a home dog. I certainly don't trust Fields. Gabriel, I trust a little bit better. He's showing you. See, like the Penix and the Daniels and the Gabriel, they come out, they throw the passes, they move the ball down the field. And then you get your Caleb's and your Fields and those guys, and they can't even throw a completion. And that's where you see the big difference. Gabriel comes in and he hits and he throws for touchdowns, and you're like, oh, okay. Baltimore, Minnesota. Baltimore 449. Baltimore's an over team, but they're skewed. I mean, Lamar missed so many games. They do score a lot with Lamar, but their defense sucks, 27 defense. A lot of injuries. Minnesota's an under team with a 23 defense. And now you got J.J. McCarthy. The first two games, he sucked. The game against the Lions, he looked good. They didn't rush him. Just shows you the Lions need a new defensive coordinator. I mean, what can you say? It's obvious you need to blitz J.J. McCarthy. But no, they didn't. They let him roll around near the goal line and throw a touchdown pass to a wide open receiver. You got defensive problems. You got a defensive coordinator that is clueless. Oh, I really like Shepard because he's emotional, but you can't coach. How can Hockenson get wide open in the end zone that when you got the ball at the 10 or 15-yard line? That can't happen. You got 8 guys back there. How can you not put pressure on? Oh, wait, Hockenson, the Hutchinson, the fabulous defensive end ran the wrong way, and he comes inside, and McCarthy strolls outside, can have a coconut ice cream, and throws to a wide open guy in the end zone. How can that happen? Well, what the fuck's going on? So I doubt they're going to see this wide open against Baltimore. Minnesota 7-0 as a home dog is irrelevant here. because of that. Baltimore 15-3 is a road favorite, is relevant here. Minnesota is strong at home. The problem is Baltimore with the 27 defense, Minnesota with the 23. And the problem is you're looking at Minnesota beating Detroit at Detroit with J.J. McCarthy, and you have no idea which team's going to show up here. You have no idea which J.J. McCarthy's going to show up here. They sat him out for a month. They faked a high ankle sprain just so, he's going to watch. What did he do last year? He was out the whole year. Didn't he watch and learn last year? Apparently not. So he's terrible. He's never going to be an NFL quarterback, McCarthy. I really don't know how he was drafted in the first round and why he would be drafted. I mean, he's no better than Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins stinks. Anyway, so be careful with this game. It's all up to the Minnesota defense. If they blitz Lamar, which they probably will, give Minnesota credit for a good defense. Harrison Smith played really well last week. Look for him. And it's in Minnesota. I think this game stays close, I guess. It's all up to how good J.J. McCarthy, how they're going to play him. I would think Baltimore will blitz him a lot more. I look for a few picks. Lamar, I look for a few picks from him. Probably a close game. I really can't get a feel on this game. Now we go to Buffalo and Miami. Buffalo 9-50. We do have a feel on this game. I'm going to put a score in here. I'm getting the number 30, and I'm getting the number 7. I got Buffalo winning 30-7. This is the free play. Take Buffalo. Lay the 3 or 3.5. The total 50, the problem is you're not going to get scoring from Miami, so it's hard to go over, but you really don't want to bet Buffalo under. You have no Tyreek Hill. You have Allen against Tug. Buffalo is 23-5 as a road favorite. I think they're 6-2 as a road favorite, 23-5 overall, and play against Miami's 8-1. Miami stinks. Taylor Lewis stinks. Tyreek Hill's out. So now what's he going to do? Their defense is a 27. I don't see any problem for Buffalo against this weak defense, and that's the key to the bet. So take Buffalo, lay 3, 3.5, and go 30-7. Buffalo is my pick. The Giants and the Bears. The Bears 4.5, 46.5. That number really hasn't moved. It was 3.5. It did go to 4.5. The Giants without Scatterboo is going to be a problem. They're a W team with the 28. The Bears are an over team with the 28. The Bears with all these fancy plays that the Lion guy brings in because they can't run normal plays apparently. So he's got to do all these double reverses, throw to the quarterback, throw to the guard, throw it to the cheerleaders. I mean, it's just ridiculous football. Dart against Caleb. Dart, we don't know. And without Scatterboo, I don't know. He likes to run a lot. Play against the Giants as a road dog is 10-2. So they're not good on the road. The Bears, I don't know. Can you bet them to win? Let's take the Bears and 1.5. I don't think you can do that. This would be an overplay if Scatterboo was there. This is an easy overplay because both teams' defense sucks. The Bears should score. They've been scoring with all these trick little plays. The Giants, they'll get a little with Dart. He'll run 1 or 2 in. But you don't have Neighbors. You don't have Scatterboo. You don't have much. So it's hard to get excited with the Giants. This is kind of maybe you take the Bears because no Scatterboo. Maybe you go over 46-40. Again, the Bears score a lot. They're not going to score 40, but you probably get something from the Giants. Arizona, Seattle 745. You got Arizona, an under team with the 21 defense that held Dallas to, what did he held Dallas to? To 17 points. Dallas scores 30-35 at home, and they held them to 17. Arizona, Buda Baker, very strong defense. You got Brissett as your quarterback. I was going to say Bubby Brister, but it's Brissett. So they're an under team with the 21. Seattle an A team with the 19 defense. So you got two pretty good defenses going at it. Darnell, who I think will have trouble in this game against a good defense, just like he had trouble in the playoffs against Detroit and the Rams. Arizona 7-1 this year, play against 7-1. So they play all close games. Just like Green Bay, they lost to Green Bay at home by 3 or something. Seattle, I don't know, they're not that strong as a home team as you think, although that's past. So this year we can only look at. I think I don't know. I think this is a close game. I don't see Seattle blowing out Arizona. I actually like Brissett better than Kyler Murray. I think he's a better quarterback. All right, Detroit, Washington. Detroit 8-49. I did see a 7.5. Detroit with some injuries on their offensive line, but both the tackles practiced yesterday, so they'll be fine. Everybody else is fine. Their defense is okay. You got Hutchinson. I get so many of these spams. Like, what the fuck? Oh, did you want a new shower? Oh, do you want a loan? We'll give you a loan. I didn't ask for a loan. That's what I don't like is I didn't ask for a new shower. I didn't ask for a loan. I didn't ask for roofing. They're bringing up the house I used to live in 5 years ago or 6 years ago. It's like, I don't live there. It was never mine. I was renting from my brother. Where are you getting this from? And at first I thought it's mistakes. Then I'm starting to realize, no, it's a scam. They're trying to get your information. Oh yeah, I can use a new shower, or I could use a loan, or I could use roofing or whatever, is to get your information. So don't just ignore those calls. Don't even say anything. So Detroit, a B team with the 22 defense. Although you gave up 27 to J.J. McCarthy's glaring red flag. You got a W team in Washington with the 26 defense in Mariota. They're a W team because Daniels missed 3 games, and even when he did, they weren't lighting it up. A stupid injury. Why is your ace quarterback running the ball? You don't see Mahomes. Remember, he did the quarterback sneak years ago and he hurt his knee. He doesn't do quarterback sneaks anymore. Why are you wasting your quarterback running? What is wrong with the offensive coordinators? You've got to be out of it. You can't run your quarterbacks. This is not I run because I got 10 blockers and therefore you can't get them injured, you idiots. The stupidest coaches, like I said, this is the stupidest coaches I've ever seen in my life. And I've been watching football since Joe Namath. I mean, what are you doing? That's why you have running backs. Give them the ball. That's why you have receivers. Let the quarterback throw to the ball, not run. Your quarterback, once he gets hurt, you're fucked. So I guess that's how you want to play it. So Detroit off of a loss. Look for them to play good. They haven't lost 2 in a row in a couple of years, apparently, I heard. They're 13-1 as a road favorite, but you must take issue with the Lions this year. They are 5-3, and they lost the 3 good defenses. So the only solace here, Washington with the 26 defense. So therefore, you understand they got a 26 defense, and Detroit shouldn't have the problems they had against Minnesota, Green Bay, and Kansas City. They will have the problems against Philadelphia and the Rams. They won't be able to run the ball. I think they'll be able to run it here, but teams are realizing if we take the run away, golf sucks. And so can Washington take the run away? Now, the offensive linemen are playing, so that should help a little bit. Again, this is where you got the offensive coordinator with the problem, relying too much on the run, not looking at the defense and running into a brick wall. And you can't just automatically, okay, we're going to run left, it's first down, and then get nothing. Then Golf can't do his little play actions, and he has to stand in the pocket, and then he's dead because they'll get him off his spot, and he just curls up like a baby. That was the biggest waste of $50 million by a team since Kirk Cousins. The Lions signing Golf like he's a good quarterback. He's a quarterback. For him to hit a guy 15 yards down the field, he's a professional quarterback. He should do that. Problem is, in the big games, he doesn't show up. That's why the Rams took Stafford instead of him. And that was a smart move by Sean McVay. Even though he's 5 years older, he knew golf's terrible. And he had a chance to get a real quarterback in Stafford, which is what he did. So look for, I think Detroit wins because I think the key is Washington's 26 defense won't be able to do what Minnesota, Green Bay, and KC did to them. And if you notice, Baltimore's defense is a 27. They're not going to stop Detroit, and they couldn't, right? So Detroit won at Baltimore. They're going to struggle against Philly and the Rams. And if they play Seattle, they'll struggle. And if they play Arizona, they're going to struggle. Any of the good defenses, Detroit won't do anything because they'll just shut down their run game, get Golf off his spot, and then poof, a 20-point game. All right. Speaking of Stafford, the Rams, 4.5, 49.5. The Rams are an A team with a really strong defense, a 16. They're a complete team. They're a Super Bowl team. San Francisco's an under team with the 21. I guess they're going with Mac Jones again. It's the system that the guy, whatchamacallit, runs. I can't think of the coach, Shanahan. From his father, that's what he runs. And so even it makes Jones look good. It makes Purdy look good. Purdy's still with the toe injury. Teaser trend here. The Rams 23-4 in a teaser, the last 27. And they're 7-0 as a road favorite, and they're 7-1 in a teaser this year. So the Rams are a go. The Niners not. You got strong defense. The Niners an under team with the 21 defense. So there's a couple ways to play this game, I believe. But Stafford's on. It was a close game the first game. I think this would be close. The Niners won in LA on the Thursday night, and I think not that it's big revenge, but I just think the Rams are playing very good right now. Pitt, San Diego 2.5, 45. Pitt's an over team, actually, with the 24 defense, and Aaron Rodgers is scoring 27-28 a game. That's the difference between Fields and these other idiots that they've had. Now they actually have a good quarterback, and Rodgers is playing very good. San Diego is an under team with the 21 defense, and Justin Herbert, who's all over the place. All their tackles are out for San Diego, so they have offensive line issues. Harbaugh is not, he got rid of Bosa like an idiot. I don't know if Mac's playing. San Diego's not that good this year. They're not as good. They're 6-3, but they should be better. I don't think Harbaugh really knows what he's doing. I think he thinks he's still at Michigan and he's waiting for the Ohio State game, and he's getting the Steelers. I just think somebody who ran into San Diego. Didn't Washington go to San Diego and beat them? Somebody else went to I think Indy went there and beat them. This is not a very good San Diego team. Pitt, I think, is a very live dog in this game. In our last game, Green Bay 2.5, 46 to Philadelphia. Hurts against Love. They're both E teams. Philly with the 23 defense. It just simply means they score 23, 24, 25. So they don't score that much, but their defense is a 23. So they're it's my signal that they score in the 20s, they give up in the 20s. Green Bay is also an E team with the 21 defense. They score mid-20s in a 21 defense. Hurts against Love. Philly 4-0 is a road dog. They're very rarely a road dog. Even at KC, they were favored. Green Bay is 9-2 as a home favorite. They're pretty good as a home favorite until last week, losing to Carolina. It was a very strange week last week. I think we always get that Halloween week where you have Carolina going to Green Bay and winning. You had Minnesota going to Detroit and winning. I think that's a Halloween thing. John Madden used to say it always happens around this time. You get the very strange upset. Phillies off last week. Again, Green Bay off the loss. This should be a very good game. You don't get a chance to get Philly as a dog too often. That's about it. So I have two locks going here. I have three locks going in college. The locks are very good plays that I think will win, like Old Mississippi State last week over with Arkansas. That was a big lock, 25 unit. That one easy. And I had them with the KC Buffalo over. So when I get a bigger lock like that, this week I have 225 units going. When I have the locks, I really like it. I really get a good feel on it. Some of them lose. I'm not going to say I'm going 100% on my 25 unit locks, but most of them win. But again, the lock is, I'm very, very confident this should happen. Now, I played Detroit as the lock last week, laying 2.5 to JJ McCarthy. I don't know how you could have saw Minnesota's going to win with JJ McCarthy at Detroit. That was very, very unexplainable. So that's the problem. Don't shoot me for making the absolute correct pick. We can't figure out how JJ McCarthy beat Detroit. I don't think anybody could have saw that coming, including moi. I could not have seen that coming. Nobody could have. So that's the point. Eating my magnesium. So that's the point. You've got to make the bet. Like we bet Denver yesterday. It was a good bet. We laid 2.5. We assume they're playing a terrible Oakland team. It's Thursday night, which we know is a problem, which is why I didn't lock the game, but I wanted to. But we did get the win. But what a strange game, 10-7. You can't always predict the games the way they should play. It was probably, I figured, 24-10 or something like that. But that's what happens. All you can do is make the best pick you can. Again, shit's going to happen predicting. And that's my point. Just all you can do with it is just go with it and just, is it a good play? Is Buffalo a good play against a shit Miami team? Yeah. We assume it's going to win or we wouldn't bet it. We are betting it. If it loses, we scratch our head going that. Now, I can warn you with Baltimore, Minnesota, hey, look out for this defense. They just beat the Lions. Not that J.J. McCarthy's any good, but their defense is, just be careful because it's all Lamar, and he's going to fumble a couple times, throw a few picks. Henry's going to do something, but not a lot against Minnesota. So I'm warning you, hey, look out for this defense. Baltimore might not win, but Buffalo against Miami, it's a weak defense. So we're figuring out different ways to win, to estimate the score. Now, in gold and silver, I am not doing the same thing. I know the dollar is being inflated, and I know gold and silver will go up. It's not the same. I'm not forecasting gold and silver will go up. And I'm hoping, and I might be wrong, right? No, it's for sure going up. Football, I am forecasting based on the factors what should happen. Most of the time they do. Like Denver yesterday. They did win, but it was 10-7, which nobody could have predicted. All right, let's go to college. We went through today's game, so let's go through tomorrow's. We'll just go through the bigger games. It's hard to go through like the Sun Belt, although I am finding some good games in Sun Belt. there were really a lot of over games. There's no defense in the Sun Belt. The MAC, there's no offense. So it depends what you got. All right, we went through today's games. Tomorrow, Southern Miss 4.5, 55.5 to Arkansas State. It's actually a pretty even game. Hey, David. It's actually a pretty even game. Arkansas State's an E with the 26, Southern Miss a B with the 24. So, and the game's it's hard. Southern Miss is favored at Arkansas State. So if you saw an upset, would you be surprised? No. We would think Southern Miss would win, but we don't know. Indiana, 14.5, 50.5. Indiana smoking everybody. They won at Oregon by 10. I just think the way they're playing, they just run it down your throat. I don't think Penn State with the backup quarterback and the backup coach is going to pull an upset here. And they just played Ohio State last week. So I just don't see it. I think Indiana just comes in and beats the shit out of you like they did at Oregon, like they did at Illinois. They're just too strong of a team. Very good quarterback, good coach, good running, good defense, all over. They're just a strong A team. And Penn State isn't. We don't know what the quarterback is. He didn't do much against Ohio State. He won't do much here. David, Raiders need a franchise quarterback. Who can they get? Well, I go through that a lot. Daggio would be number one on my list. The Baylor quarterback Robertson would be number two. This Texas A&M quarterback Reed, number three. I'm sure there's more. If I look at the list, those three right off the bat, and the Raiders they don't need to secure the one. If they don't get Daggio, they can get Robertson or they can get Reed and they'll be fine. So any of those three is a franchise quarterback right off the bat. This Indiana one, maybe he's okay. Illinois, Altmaier is a good one. Morton at Texas Tech's a very good one. This Devin Dampier at Utah is a very good one. South Florida, Brahms a good one. Joey Aguilar, Tennessee, he'd be a stud. Again, you got to be careful of him running that. What offense you going to run? If you get Joey Aguilar, you got to run the Tennessee offense. And the Lions are an attest to that. They didn't want to run the Tennessee offense because Goff couldn't figure it out. So Hooker was lost, and they didn't help him out. Hooker's a very good quarterback. Carolina just cut him. Maybe Oakland could take a stab at Hooker and go to the Tennessee offense. Chip Kelly could probably figure it out. But those 5 or 6 quarterbacks are very good quarterbacks. That's what I see. I'm kind of confused by these. All of a sudden, Daniel Jones is good. All of a sudden, Darnell's good. I mean, what kind of offense was the Jets running and was these other teams running, the Giants, that these quarterbacks look so bad? It shouldn't really matter. I mean, Dart looks okay, but he's doing a lot of running, and he had Scadaboo. Aaron Rodgers looks okay at Pittsburgh. So, a lot of it's the quarterback, although he didn't look great on the Jets, but he looked okay. I just think the Jets just don't have a good offensive coordinator. But it is confusing when Darnell and even Baker looked like shit. And then, he was at the Rams and nobody wanted him. And then he made his way to Tampa, and now it's boom. He looks like he did at Oklahoma. So, it's hard to say. I would go after the quarterbacks I said in college. Dampier, I think they can't go wrong if they get Pavia. And I got a feeling he won't go first. I'll probably still try to get Arch Manning. Jesus, he's terrible. Or maybe Prime Juniors. They can trade for him. Why these teams never draft correct? Because they got idiots as GM. It's just like, why doesn't people buy gold and silver? They don't understand what it is. They don't understand the dollar, and they listen to their financial planners. So they listen to the wrong people, and they buy, instead of buying gold and silver as we do, they buy stocks. And they go, oh, look at how much money we're making without realizing they're in the dollar. One note on stocks, be careful. When the shit hits the fan, you don't own the stock. You're not going to get it. They're going to say it's not yours. JP Morgan will steal it from you. So you might have 1,000 shares of a silver miner, Luke. And I sent you the video, Luke. So watch the end of it. And basically they say that they're going to steal your stocks. They're not yours. They never are. You're buying it. And if you sell it, you can get out of it. But when the shit hits the fan, you go to sell it, you're not going to be able, they're going to take it from you, as the money in the bank's not going to be yours. Plus it won't be worth anything. So be careful with that. But basically it's the same reasons, David. If they don't know what they're doing, and you can see when they draft Daniel Jones and when they draft Richardson, JJ McCarthy, they don't know what they're doing. They're trying to get, we'll get athletes instead of quarterbacks, and then we'll run with him. You can't run. So these are guys that are in way over their heads. They're very clueless. That's why they all get fired so fast. And then they do the same thing with the head coaches. They don't know how to draft the head coach or defensive coordinators, and they don't know what they're doing. And they end up with bad coaches who can't coach. And then they end up with bad coordinators and then bad offenses. And you draft a guy like Hooker, who's a no-brainer, and then he doesn't look good because you don't know how to coach him. So that's a big problem with it. You're hiring idiots, basically. It's hard to find people like me and you who know what we're doing, who understand why you win and lose and what you got to look for. They don't. I would draft Agiopavia first. No matter who I am. Who am I? The New Orleans, they just drafted Tyler Shaw. Aguio's 20 times better than Tyler Shaw. But they won't draft a quarterback. Like Miami won't get rid of Tua. Why? He sucks. At what point do you not realize he sucks? Now, Daniel Jones, I don't know how much he's doing for Indy. I think it's more the running and these short passes. But you saw against Pittsburgh, 4 interceptions. That's Daniel Jones. And they played an easy schedule. So does New England. So it's kind of confusing there. But they don't know what they're doing. And, I go to people, buy gold, and they look at me like I'm an alien. And I go, don't buy it then. See, I know what they're going, but do they listen to the people that know what they're doing? I don't think so. All right. SMU goes to Boston College. SMU 10.5, 54.5. They just beat Miami. Boston College is not very good. SMU on the road, I don't know. Georgia, Old Mississippi State. Georgia 9 and 56.5. This was 7.5. A lot of Georgia money going in. Total is 57.5 to 56.5. Two notes I take out of this game. Georgia played Tennessee and Mississippi and gave up like 40 points. They gave up 24 to Alabama, but Alabama just tried to protect the lead. Old Mississippi State went to Texas and put up 38, and last week against Arkansas put up 38. I think you'll see points in the game. I don't see Georgia with this 7 defense, and I think the game's at Old Mississippi State. I like the quarterback, Old Mississippi State, Chapin from Baylor. He's either Baylor or Texas Tech, but I think he's Baylor. Georgia can score as they need. Like I said, against Mississippi and against Tennessee, they came back. They were able to score when they needed it. So we'll see. But I think Old Mississippi State might be a live dog in this game. I think they'll score enough to keep the game close. I don't see Georgia as this big thing, especially the Mississippi State Texas game, where Texas with this great defense and they lit them up. And the game's at Mississippi State. So I think Mississippi State's a live dog here. All right. BYU Texas Tech game of the week. Texas Tech 10, 52.5. They're both A teams. BYU is 17 defense, Texas Tech at 13. Morton is back for Tech. BYU's got their quarterback. Nobody seriously out. I think it's a big number. I think this is like USC Notre Dame, where USC, you're getting 10, 12 points. That was obviously too much. in a teaser. We had 16 and a half. They lost by 10. And I think it's a similar play here. I think the spread, I would have thought maybe 6, 7, but 10, I think's a big number. Now, Tech is a good team, good running back, good defense, but so does BYU. Good quarterback, even though he's a freshman. And the key is they beat Utah. They both beat Utah. So we'll see. But when Tech played Utah, the quarterback got hurt and they beat him like 34-10. But when BYU played Utah, Dampier played. So is it tease the dog? Is it go over, go under? I looked at the total and I couldn't figure it out. I think they'll be scoring. They both play pretty. The A teams are pretty strong offensively and pretty strong defensively, and that's what you got. So it's a tough call to go under, even though it's a 17 and a 13 defense. All right. Ohio State, Purdue, Ohio State 29 and a half, 48 and a half. Ohio State with the 7 defense, best defense in the country. Purdue 27. All right, we locked Ohio State under as we do most weeks, and we missed by a point because of some stupid fumble just before half that Penn State was able to pull out, even though the forward progress was stopped, get the fumble, and then scored just before half, which killed us. Otherwise, Penn State scored 7 points. They weren't scoring much. I love when the spam leaves a message. Your spam. I don't want to hear your message. All right. I think Purdue kind of gives them a little bit of a game. I think they got a decent defense. Purdue with a 27 defense, but played Notre Dame and played USC. They played USC fairly competitive. Notre Dame lost by 30, but they did score on them. I just think Ohio State's going to be a little flat. You played Penn State. You've been playing some big games. You got to go to Purdue. It's raining here. I don't know if it's going to rain tomorrow, but you got the Purdue game, and it's who cares? It's Purdue, but Purdue, it's a big game for them. So I think this is going to be a little more competitive. They might win by 14 or 17. They're not going to win by 40. I don't believe. Again, it's my thought, my judgment, and we will find out tomorrow. It's a 1:00 game in East Lafayette or West Lafayette. So don't be surprised if Purdue gives them a bit of a game. Having played USC and Notre Dame, they won't be that much in awe of Ohio State. And they're at home. I think they'll play a very good game. I like their coach. I like their quarterback, but he throws a lot of picks. So I think they'll get down there and then he'll throw a pick. And I think it'll be a closer game than 29. I'm surprised at that line. Maryland, Rutgers 2.5, 57.5. Maryland's not bad. Maryland was a favorite in the game. Now Rutgers goes to 2.5, and the total is still 58. So don't know why the Rutgers money. Maryland, good quarterback, decent quarterback, I should say. Rutgers, I don't know. Sometimes they score, they don't. They got a 31 defense. I think Maryland's a live dog unless there's some injury here. Charlotte, East Carolina. This could be the surprise game that East Carolina 28.5, 55.5. Charlotte, the Z team with the 37 defense, and we got East Car, an A team with the 16. Plays pretty well. I have a feeling East Car wins this by 50 points. Just because Charlotte's so bad, and East Car's an A team, so it's kind of a hidden one. I'd rather lay 28 down to 22 with East Car than Ohio State this week. And they're at home, and Charlotte's a Z team. Purdue's not a Z team. Duke and UConn. Duke 9.5, 63.5. This is down. This was 66. Is there weather? Because we are getting rain. I wonder if there's weather this week. Duke an over team with the 28 defense. UConn can score with the 24. Duke, I prefer Duke to be the dog here, but this should be high scoring, I think. Iowa State, TCU. Iowa State's not playing very well this year. TCU 757.5. Really, line hasn't moved. Iowa State an E team, 22 defense. They always have a fairly good defense. TCU over with a 25 defense. TCU at home, I think gets the W here. Kansas goes to Arizona. Another game that's really hard to figure. Arizona 5.5, 57.5. Kansas an over team with the 25. Jalen Daniels of Kansas, just like Jalen Daniels of LSU/Washington. He's a scrambler, but he's a good passer. He wasn't that good before, but he's become a good quarterback, a good passer. He's had 400-yard days. Should keep him in. Arizona, a good team, an A team, 20 defense. It's not the type of team I want to take Kansas as the dog against, but it's a hard game because I really can't bet against Kansas with Arizona. So it leaves you totals, and I don't know what the total would be here. Oregon goes to Iowa, and this line keeps moving. Oregon is now it's 41.5 and 6.5. Oregon, an A team, 13 defense. Iowa's a B team, 13 defense. I'm hesitant to take Oregon even, which has never been the case. Bo Nix or Gabriel, I would take Oregon. I'm a little bit afraid of Dante Moore. He's not that good. I'm a little bit afraid of Iowa, who's got a little better offense this year. Both with 13 defenses. They played a 30-20 game with Indiana, Oregon, and I think they are going to get about 20 in this game. I don't know what Iowa will do, but I definitely I'm not playing Oregon even, which is what I normally saw and would play. A&M 7, 48.5 to Missouri. Missouri doesn't have their quarterback. He broke his leg against Vandy. So I'm kind of looking at this game going, A&M 7 and Missouri doesn't have a quarterback. We don't know the backup, so it's a little bit of a hesitation. But I can't see A&M. They went to Notre Dame and won, not having a good chance to win this game at 7. Syracuse, Miami 28.5, 46.5. Syracuse is now a Z team. Their starting quarterback got injured early. They haven't done much. They got a 30 defense. Miami an 18 with a 15 off of another loss. This time it's at SMU. So what are you going to do with that one? Miami should be pissed. Syracuse stinks. Miami should kill them. See, I like that much more than the Ohio State. I don't understand Ohio State's line. Purdue's not bad. The East Carolina against Charlotte and this game, I both would much prefer the home team laying the 28 against the weak team than going against Purdue. I mean, that's just kind of how I view it. Here's your free pick. Coastal Carolina, 7.5, 57.5. Take Coastal Carolina minus 1.5. Coastal Carolina has turned into an over team. 4 out of the last 5 weeks, they've scored over 35. And Georgia State's a Z team. The spread is not correct. The 7.5 should be about 14. Total of 56. I thought about the over, and I said, no, I don't think I'm going to get points from Georgia State. Coastal Carolina, 28 defense, but Georgia State's a 40 defense. So because Coastal Carolina is starting to score, and the fact that Georgia State's a Z team with the 40 defense, voila, I come out with Coastal Carolina as your free pick. Okay, don't fuck with me. I know what I'm doing. So there you go, Coastal Carolina free pick. And who else is going to give you a free pick like Coastal Carolina, right? Auburn, Vandy 6.5, 45.5. Basically an 18, Vandy 20 defense. Auburn and under with 17. Their coach got fired. It's probably the offensive coordinator took over. I got to bet Daggio at home even. It's Daggio. Washington goes to Wisconsin. Washington 11.5, 44.5. Washington is a team. And Wisconsin is a under team, 23 defense. No offense. They always have a good defense. Washington's got to travel. At least it's a 4:30 game for them. So they're playing at 1:30, not at 9 in the morning. Traveling to Wisconsin is not the same as traveling to New York or the East Coast because it's in the middle of the country. It probably cuts off an hour and a half off the flight. Washington, a very good team. And Wisconsin sucks. 11, yeah, it's under a touchdown. You might be all right there. Texas State, Lou Lafayette. Texas State's an over team. Lou Lafayette is an E, both with 30 defenses. Texas State's 2.5, 63.5. Maybe you go over with Texas State. They're a good over team, good quarterback. See? The Air Force, San Jose State, 5.5, 65.5. You've got two over teams, Air Force a 35 defense, San Jose State a 30 defense. San Jose State's got a quarterback, Eget, who's just lighting it up. Again, looking at my quarterback stats is where I found them. They're pretty explosive there. Wake Forest goes to Virginia. Virginia 6.5, 48.5. Virginia, the A team with the good quarterback, 22 defense. Wake an under team with the 21. This is like the Vandy game. Virginia should win at home. Florida State, Clemson. Who the fuck knows? This is Clemson 1.5, 56.5. Who's betting the over in this game? I don't know. Florida State is an over team, 20 defense. Clemson's an E team with the 24 defense. Yeah, no, I don't know. Clemson can't beat anybody, and Florida State sucks. The running quarterback is a lousy quarterback. I don't think he'll be able to run on Clemson. So I have no idea. Good luck on that one. Notre Dame 27. This was 25. Is now 27 with still a 55 total. They're both A teams, although Navy's in the AAC. Notre Dame's not in any conference. Notre Dame with the 20 defense. Carr, they're scoring pretty well, and they got the running. Navy with the 24 defense, but they score a lot. So they're a very strong team. At 27, I'm getting close to taking Navy here. This is not the same. I mean, if you're looking for 27, you play East Carr or you play Miami. Notre Dame is not 27 points better than Navy. Navy's an A team and a very good one. So I don't know. This spread seems way high. Probably a fix. They'll probably win by 20. Not cover. Alabama, 10, 49.5 to LSU. LSU an E team with an 18 defense, which I don't buy. Alabama an 18 with an 18. Now, we saw Vandy put up 30-something on LSU. They don't really have much of an offense. Brian Kelly's fired. And I'm not buying the 18 defense. So Alabama, they're right in the hunt. They're 7-1. They need the game. They're at home. This isn't the normal Alabama LSU. LSU is not very good this year. So roll tide, I think. And let's see. Nebraska goes to UCLA. UCLA 1.5, 44.5. Quarterback got a broken leg for Nebraska last week. Cost us our over with SC. So there's always circumstances why you lose a bet. You don't expect the quarterback to break his ankle in the game. You do know it's possible, but you hope it doesn't happen. So when it happens, you're kind of fucked, but you couldn't have predicted he's going to break his ankle. Nebraska and E team, we don't know with the 20 defense because they're starting a freshman quarterback. UCLA minus 1.5, 44.5. Have a 31 defense, which is getting better. They switched the offensive coordinator, who's very good. I look at this as the Penn State game. They put up 42. They won 42-34, something like that, to Penn State. And I look at, they kind of figured out UCLA a little bit. They ran into Indiana last week, and nobody is going to do anything against that team. So I think UCLA 1.5 favorite. I think it should be 3 or 4. Again, Nebraska's got a rookie freshman quarterback, pretty good defense, but Penn State had a pretty good defense. Penn State's defense, uh, where is it against Indy? They're a 21 defense, and they put up 40 points on that defense, and here we got Nebraska 21 defense. So I'm not worried about. I think UCLA is very live here. Let's see. And our last game, San Diego State had Hawaii. San Diego State's an A team, very good team, kind of secretly a very good team. Hawaii, an over team. San Diego State 748.5. This is down from 51. The unders are coming in. Again, San Diego State an A team. So there you go. You get your free pick. Coastal Carolina -1.5. And that's what we do. We're able to find Coastal Carolina's -1.5. I remember last year we locked Texas State against some Z team and they won by 40. That's why we check every conference. That's why we look at the quarterbacks. That's why we look at the last 5 or 6 games. I only found that looking at, because otherwise Coastal Carolina is a W team with the 28 because they played Virginia the first week and lost 37-0. So it brought down their offense, made their defense look worse. But then when I go into the last 5 games, it's like scoring 30, 30, 30, a 28, and 1 bad game. So they're scoring in the 30s against like Marshall, Southern Alabama stuff, but all better than Georgia State. So when you start, that's what you see. And that's why you go through the games, the past games, to try to figure them out because it's skewed, especially for teams like Coastal Carolina or, maybe Lutech or Delaware or, Texas State, Lou Lafayette, because they play the Ohio States and the Alabamas and they lose 73-0, but it skews their stats the whole way. Oh, you gave up 73. Yeah, but in conference, we're giving up 15 points a game. So we're really an under team, but you got me as an over team. So that's why you look at it. You got to throw out the when they play the Alabamas and the Ohio States and the high school teams. So once you throw those out, so that's why you look in the conference. So you got about 5, 6 games of conference games. And once you have that, then you've got the real team. And since they're in conference, they're not playing Alabama and Ohio State. So now you got them in conference, Coastal Carolina playing Georgia State, not Oklahoma, not, Alabama. And what are they going to do? Oh, well, they're a Z team. So that's where ranking the teams matters. That's where we're looking. I looked at Georgia State the last 5 games, and they've lost all 5. They're pretty close in the games, but they lost all 5. Here we're only laying 1.5. They should win. We'll see. Anything can happen. Hopefully there's no injuries to worry about. But again, we have to make the pick based on our judgment now. We cannot make the pick. After the game. My brother always used to say that to me. Well, you didn't need the teaser. He would tell me I didn't need the teaser. And I would look at him, kind of, yeah, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that before the game. I'd always say you got to bet the game before the game. You can't bet after the game's played. So you can, I hated that. You look back and you go, oh, they won by 20 and you teased it from 7-1. You didn't need the teaser. Did I win the teaser? He missed the whole point of the exercise. Did I win the teaser? Where the 7 went down to 1 and they won by 20. Did it win? Yeah. That's what you got to look at, not I didn't need it or if I need it. That doesn't matter. But look at a lot of these games. You don't really need it. What, the Mississippi State over the big 25 unit lock. Did I need the teaser? No. They scored 73, but we had 66 down to 60. Did we win? Yes. We did need the teaser in the KC Buffalo over, the other part of the lock. It was 52 down to 46, and they won 28-21. They didn't go over without the teaser, but with the teaser, we won a 25 unit bet. That's what you must look at with the teaser. It got you a winner instead of a loser. And yes, I would have won the over, and then I would have lost I won the over Mississippi State without the teaser, and I lost it. So I would have broke even and lost juice. Instead, I got two winners, and I win a big bet instead of going 1-1 because I used the teaser. And then psychologically, it would have crushed me going, shit, if I would have played the teaser, I would have won. And I didn't play the teaser. Now that's what I always play the teaser for. And people don't understand you win a lot more with the 6 points. And when they fix games, they're fixing against the line. So if they're laying 7, they'll win by 5. But if we tease it down, like yesterday, Denver, we're laying 2.5. They win by 3. The spread was 8.5, 9. So instead of losing with Denver, we win in the teaser. It was probably fixed. You can't win. I got to watch the game, but what the fuck was that? Good morning, Prophet. How are you? How's old Canada? So let's look at there was one I wanted to show you. So here's now do not waste your time with Mark McGuire and this woman who's a moron. She's like Andy Scheckman. She talks, doesn't say anything. It's a waste of time. Don't watch them. It's a shame. I keep saying, why do you have these guests on? And they must make money. They must charge the guests, because that's what I learned from doing my thing. They charge you, or they must charge them. Let me show you on my. I'll show you mine, I believe. So if you go into my X Teaserking, there's my radio. So it's about a 40-minute. We're talking economics, gold, inflation, and we're talking football. Like, how do I pick it? Oh, you guys know most of it from what I do, but if you want to watch that, please do. Now, one problem I had is I had to pay for it, which I thought was a joke. Why am I paying for this? All right. Anyway, you can catch me there. So let's watch this one. It's Alligator, I think, and Andy Scheckman. Actually, let's go to. I want to go to this silver store. Be careful of the airport shutting down as the government's closed. The the controllers who control the flights, for some reason, are government employees instead of private companies. And they're not getting paid, and they're getting pissed for going into work. It's high stress, and they're not paying the government employees because the government shut down. So be careful traveling Christmas and New Year's, because if the air traffic controllers aren't working, you're not going anywhere, or it's going to be much less controllers, less flights. So just be careful Christmas and New Year's, what's going on. So remember, the gold and silver's paper, price fixed. Um, all right, I'm going to show you this silver guy. This is the guy that owns the store. He doesn't quite understand, so we're going to pick him apart, as I like.
Have you guys heard of the auction app? I got all.
Yeah, we don't
Once
care.
we purchase or whatever you. So your guys' 90% actually is under spot right now.
So he owns a store,
It's under.
but he doesn't understand.
Buy your gold and silver online from SD Bullion. New customers get gold or silver at spot by visiting sdbullion.com/new. Looking here at the showcase, and there is zero gold. What happened, Harry?
Well, people are buying on the dips. I mean, gold's down about $300 plus since its recent week's high. And even though it's still at a very high level, people regard that as a bargain. And so it's gone.
Do we buy on the dips because we think it's a bargain? No, it's a sale. We buy anytime because gold is undervalued, because it's using paper gold as the price instead of physical gold. We don't have a physical gold price, but we know paper gold is 10 times, physical gold's 10 times of what paper is. So you're always buying. So buying on the dips, this isn't stock. Again, the confusion between stocks and gold is hilarious, how stupid these people are. Well, yeah, it's coming back. They're profit taking. They're, taking a breather. No, it's COMEX dumping. Good. Do you recommend playing 3-team teasers when you're getting plus 160 odds? Absolutely. You should play 3-team teasers. You want to get the best odds. If you're getting plus 160, I would play 3-team teasers. What's your odds on a 2-team teaser? Are probably, if it's more than 110, if you're paying 120, 130, I would then probably just play 3-team teasers. God knows I have 3 teams to play. I think I have 8 college teasers and 4 or 5 pro teasers, and I'm going to add. So I think that's a joke. I think getting the 160, we can hit probably 8 out of 10 of the 3-team teasers, because we're getting hurt on the one, Ohio State under, and they lose by a point. We're getting hurt by that, but it's a fluke. We win a lot more than we lose. So yeah, I would take that, especially, but I got to see what the 2-team, if a 2-team is more than 110, I'd be all over 3-team at 160 all day.
As fast as we buy it.
Seems like people are.
So again, he doesn't understand. Back to the gold guy. He doesn't understand. They're not buying the dips. This isn't a stock. It's amazing how stupid people are. as your question on why the NFL can't draft good quarterbacks or good players or good coaches. They don't know. They're idiots. And the same thing here. They're buying the dips. They're not buying the dips. They're buying because it's gold, because the dollar's worthless. You're buying because this has no value. It doesn't matter what the price of gold is. If you can afford to buy, you buy. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so again, he's clueless there.
Buying a lot of the silver as well. I mean, we don't have all of the trays in the showcase right here. Is that going on?
Yeah, without a doubt, silver is moving just as fast as gold, and in particular, silver rounds and maples. Can't get any maples. Can't keep them if we get them. And maybe it's because we've talked about maples being a real positive form of bullion. I think it is, but nonetheless, buffaloes and maples are very, very popular.
Do you think it's because the premiums on silver eagles went up?
Yeah, eagles are still, I think the premiums are a bit ridiculous right now, but it's reflective of the lack of inventory at the U.S. Mint, because I think we've discussed this earlier. They stopped making the 2025s and are gearing up for the 2026s, and therefore there's a bit of a gap in there in supply.
Does that make sense that they would stop printing 2025s? No, they don't have any silver. The U.S. has no silver, and therefore now it's starting to play. Now it's starting to play. What does Alyssa want? Let me call her back. I got to go get her. Yeah. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey. You wanna come get me now?
Yeah. I was waiting.
Okay, I'm in the clinic.
Okay, I'll leave shortly. All right.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so a few more minutes. The two teams users are minus 110 at my sportsbook Pinnacle, and the three teamers are plus 160, as I may start doing that. I would play like my lock at 110, but then I would put my lock here. I have two locks going. It'll probably be three. And I would, so if you bought from me, you'd get four locks. I would play a 4-team teaser or mix them into 3-team teasers. But at first I would play, and these are 25-unit locks. These are big locks. I would play the lock at minus 110. I'd bet bigger. And then I would play a 3-team teaser or a 4-team teaser with the locks. Now, hopefully we go 4-0 on our locks or 6-0 on our locks. They should win. That's why they're locks, but that's what I would play. And that's why you buy the locks and you play the locks more. So I would play the lock strong at 110, and then I'd see both or other teams and then play that in a 3-team teaser at 160. And then depending on your odds for a 5 or 6-team teaser, I would play those smaller, but if you're getting 250 on a 5-team or 6-team teaser, then this would be a good week to do it with I think I'll have 3 locks going. So yeah, definitely profit. Good thing to do. Pinnacle. So everybody go to Pinnacle Sportsbook. Thank you. Profit. All right. Let me just finish up this.
2026s, and therefore there's a bit of a
So again, they run out of silver. That's why they're not doing it.
To be sure, it's costing us more. It's going to cost the consumer more.
So you got Silver Eagles at 55.50, and other government ounces only 52. So yeah, if people want coins, it makes sense they'd be going for something like a maple leaf.
Yeah, and that's about $8 over spot this morning, and I just lowered it 50 cents. So it's Eagles are very expensive now.
What about the junk silver?
So don't buy the Eagles. You buy the rounds. The Eagles are the actually $1 money. The rounds are not actually $1, but you don't care because you're buying silver. Silver's at $50. You want to buy silver, you get the 999 rounds. They're mostly the buffaloes, but they don't say $1 on them, and it doesn't really matter because you're not buying silver because it's worth $1. Here, I'll give you $1. Well, it's worth 50. So that's what you're doing. It's sort of like a Mano card. What's the real value of the card? It's cardboard. It's probably nothing. but because it says mantle on it and it's limited and it's a high grade card, it's worth $500,000. Well, it's because it's a mantle and it's a excellent card versus the fact that it's not the cardboard. You don't look at it as the cardboard. 14 teasers pay 260. So there you go. So I would add a 14 for 260 and play that fairly strong because you're going to play both the teasers. I'm going to play both my locks, right? And I'm going to play them at minus 110, and I'm going to play them pretty big. And then if you win that, then it makes sense to play a 14 teaser and get 260 for your money. So that's what I would do. I would buy the locks. You get 4 or the games and 4 and play the 4-team teaser, play them for, let's say 500 each, 2-team teasers, and then maybe 100 and get 260. So you bet the 100 to win what? 100 will win you 260. And I mean, that you're not, instead of laying 110 to win 100, you get 100 to win 260. So that's how I would play it. All right. So again, you're buying the bullion, not the actual eagles, because the eagle says $1 on it. We don't really care. You're buying silver because silver is $50 an ounce, not eagles. I would never pay more for the eagle. There's no point in it. All right, a little bit more.
Junk silver is still a bargain compared to eagles, to be sure, but even as compared with silver rounds, I think it rivals that in terms of being inexpensive. And we're doing okay with moving 90% junk silver, if you will, but it's not as popular as the rounds. At least not.
Why buy the junk silver? What's the point of buying the junk silver? Like you said, it's 90%, not 999. And you want silver, and the price isn't much. The junk silver, is pretty much, let's say it's $20 for quarters. Well, I don't know how you sell it, but I never had any appetite for it. I would buy, instead of the junk silver, I would buy I would just buy the bullion, the Buffaloes, the Arizona Mint, and the others. That's what I would buy. The Maple Leafs Cougarans, if you could get those for the same price, I would buy those all day. I would never buy the junk silver. That's just stupid. Because I think it'll end up on our credit card or debit card will be the silver and gold, not the money. So the money goes out. We substitute it with the gold and the silver. You go to the grocery store, you use your debit card, and instead of dollars on it, it's silver. And then they'll have to change all the prices. Milk and eggs and everything will be priced in silver. Probably, 1/100th of a silver for milk and cookies, right? Because that's way overpriced now in dollars. All right, a little bit more. I got to go get a list.
Because some of the refiners are still refusing to buy less than pure silver?
I think that has something to do with it, although
No, it has nothing to do with it.
Typically not looking to flip it quickly to a refiner. But the word out there is negative in terms of 90% being liquid. There's a lot of shops not even buying it right now because there's nowhere for us as shops to go with it other than at the retail level.
Yeah, so if people are looking for an exit strategy down the road, they're saying, okay, if I get pure silver, like silver rounds or coins, I'm going to be able to sell those pretty easily. So maybe that's why they're leaning more towards those things.
Yeah, with an eye towards the future.
I'm sorry, what's an exit strategy? You are not buying this to exit strategy. You are buying this to get out of dollars. You're not exiting gold or silver. Now, you might need it to buy groceries, okay, but that's just going to be the silver round. But you're not buying it for an exit strategy. You're not trying to make money at this and sell it and profit take. Then you get back into monopoly money and you're fucked. So this is never the case. You're not trying to get back into this. You're getting out of it, and you don't want to get back on the Titanic, as I say. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to go get Alyssa as I'm going to have some lunch. Let's look at gold one last time. And we'll get into that tomorrow. Oof, oof. Oh, woof, woof. Look at this. It moved up. Well, I'm so excited. Usually at 12 o'clock, it goes down. So here we're back to 40.16 and 48.54. Will this stay at 4016 is a good question, but we like the fact it's going over 4,000. We all know it's times 10 is this physical. This is paper. We all know this, but it's just this is the price of gold and silver now is this. So we have to respect that. So that's what's going on. So I got to go get Alyssa for lunch, and she needs a ride, and that's what I do. That's my job with her. So yes, profit, play your 4-team teaser, buy my picks, buy my locks, $77. You get, I think right now I got 2 locks. I think I'm going to add a third and take that and then play those 6 in a 6-team teaser or mix them up in 4s, play them in 2-team teasers for more money. And with all the money you got, you can lay that gold bar down and double it, but you won't get paid in gold. You got to buy more gold. So with that, I thank you. Your free play is Coastal Carolina and the Buffalo Bills, I believe, is the other one. Let's go Buffalo. Yeah, that's your free play. Buffalo, Miami with the weak defense. Coastal Carolina is playing Georgia State with the 40 defense, and they're scoring. So those are your 2 free plays. Put them in a find 2 other games profit, and you got to put 100 out to make 260. Piece of cake. So we'll see. Hopefully they win. They should win. But again, anything can happen. We thought Denver would win by more than 3, but that's why we bet it under 3. You get under your numbers. All right. Time to go. www.teaserking.com. Again, I got 2 25-unit locks. That's 4 teams. Big games. Last week, what can we do? Ohio State under for the first time didn't cover, but that happens. Are the bets good before the game? You can look after and go, oh yeah, you lost. Well, but that's going to happen. This should be a huge week. A lot of really strong games, better matchups. We'll see. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. All right. Take care.